wasn't idle, but I mean, it's obviously not firing normally. Let's shove some boost in this thing. Fix the fuel pump. We had a cam sensor issue on the first pull, made 1,008 horsepower. Let's send some boost through it. Alright, so made 1,091. It seemed like it kind of started to lay over. We got some good amount of boost in here. I'm gonna have to take a look at the log. Yeah, it laid over pretty hard up top. So pretty strange, as opposed to the last run. You know, we're making a lot more steam down low. You can see that right there. That made 1,089 at 6,000 RPM versus 970. So we saw, I think, about 28 pounds, but we got this kind of breakup. These are still the old plugs. If you guys remember in the last video, I put some new plugs in the car and they were defective or something. So I think a plug change is going to help this thing out. It almost felt like spark blowout, and it was right as we got into the high boost. So I think a fresh set of hopefully real NGK plugs, and this thing should hopefully carry out. I'm trying to see around 1,200 wheel. Well, I mean, we're basically at 1,100. And if this followed the same curve it did before, it would basically level right out at 1,100. But let me take a look at this log, make sure there's nothing else going on, make sure there's no MAT issues or anything like that. All right, so definitely a spicy one on that. I kind of just said, let's send it. And after the first bowl was a casual 1,000 wheel, 1,008. That's with kind of around the boost we ran most of the season. We ran a little bit more than that before, but you know, and then we went 1,091 up to 28 pounds. What I'm starting to see is definitely a lot of MAT, that's for sure. So MAT right there, you know, as the turbo's starting to build, it really kind of exponentially gets out of control. You can see 197 towards the end there. I do have a theory that my charge pipe is really close to the down pipe, which doesn't help. I just don't know if it's an artificial reading, like in terms of the sensor is getting hot, but the air isn't actually hot, or if the air is actually that hot. Now, I can tell you, I can put my hand on the charge pipe. It's warm, but it's not, I don't think it's 200 degrees. So my theory is that it's absorbing some heat from the downpipe, but it's still getting up there. Injector duty cycle, we're at 81% at 28 pounds of boost. I do know that these FIC 1650s, we're going to have to step it up to 2200 soon. Oil pressure, fantastic. Fuel pressure, 90 pounds, beautiful. Rear wheel speed shows 195 miles an hour. I believe it. So I think everything looks relatively okay here. I did notice that the way I have the spark tables set up, it does, let's see, spark right down here, 15 degrees. So the way I have that set up is in the higher boost, I pulled a little bit of timing out. And you can see it goes from around 17, 18 degrees at 19 pounds of boost to around 15. Now, I would expect some power, to lose some efficiency without that spark, but I wouldn't expect to see this downfall. And the only reason it's that soft is for safety. So you can see down here, I mean, it's making significantly less power. My thought process is this is a spark plug issue, hopefully. And if we replace some plugs, we'll hopefully get this to carry. Because for some reason, it just kind of lays over in this area. And the log shows everything to look really, really good. You know, besides, like I said, the MAT getting up there in heat. Now, hot air, if it is truly hot air, is not good horsepower making air. But, you know, if we're looking at air fuel's looking great. So really happy with that. Here's the wide open throttle area. So we're pretty much right on target the entire way. Target dome pressure 32 pounds, which puts us at, we're at about 27, 28. So there's our data log review. I'm pretty happy with the car running this way. I'd like to put some plugs in it. I do plan to swap out this turbo for the 88 mil and really send her home. But for now, this is what we're working with. This is what we're going to be running at FL2K. So yeah, that is the most amount of power it has made to date. We did see a similar fall off the last time. I added a little bit more dome pressure. But yes, this is the most power it has made to date. But we want to see that horsepower curve carry out and not dive down. Because if we were on track too, we'd be slowing down because we shift this thing around 8,000. So this right here is almost better than this high peak. So yeah, let's see what we can do. Hopefully get some new plugs in here, and I'd like to crack 1200, but I don't know if we'll do it with this turbo. We'll have to see. All right, fresh set of plugs, old plugs. Those are the ones we've been racing on all year. Hopefully makes nice 1100. That's what I'd like to see. All right, so either we're running into a limit of the stock coils, maybe battery voltage, but we saw some pretty good voltage on that run. Well, that made a kind of flatter line, so that's good. But it seems like in the higher boost range, we are running out of maybe efficiency on the turbo. Maybe we're overspinning the turbo. It's at 28, 29 pounds of boost, so I don't know. I thought we could go 30, 40 pounds on this turbo, but maybe not. Maybe that's where we're at. So it's making just under 1100 wheel. I backed the boost back down a little bit. The curve seemed to follow kind of flat. So I say we run this turbo and go from there. All right, so this run was at basically 22 pounds. We had a little spike, kind of early on that saw 24 pounds, which we can actually see on the graph right there. You can see this little spike. It's actually where it made peak. And then it kind of, this little wavering here is the boost kind of settling. And it's also riding a line of spark. So I can make some changes here. But it really seems way happier in this lower boost level. So my best guess is we're running out of the efficiency zone of the turbo, maybe. This is 22 pounds. I mean, it's not anything crazy. So I'm gonna look at ignition timing because I'm pretty sure it did a little wavering. Let's see. Yeah, so it waved around a little bit and then settled out at 20 degrees. I decided to put some more timing in it and a little bit more boost. We might make one more final run and add a little bit of boost, but not that much, and see if we can kind of get somewhere in the middle, a nice smooth curve between there and this crazy fall off. Unless we're running into a limit of the stock coils. Who knows? Might be that too. It's always fun trying to find the limits on all these things. All right, leading up to the week of FL2K, we got the GT500 on the lift. We got to bolt check it. We got to oil change it. This is the first oil change of the new built motor from Texas Speed. So this is the sleeve Gen 3 block, 1101 compression, blah, blah, blah. So on the dyno, you guys just saw those clips. I'm not too sure what I filmed, but we kind of maxed out the turbo as far as I can tell. It looks like it might even be getting a little bit of valve float, possibly just kind of running out of steam with this turbo. It kind of made about the same power, not exactly, but from 22 pounds to 29 pounds of boost, it really laid over. So we're gonna go out to FL2K, probably keep it around the same power as it was on the stock motor, but we should still be able to go 160 plus trap speed, high 150s, and still go back and get that bottom 9, high 8-second pass. I will say I'm a little bit untested. I've been very busy with customer cars, tuning, and really just keeping everything together. So I'm mostly untested. However, the car hasn't changed much other than the built motor. So right now we're just gonna oil change it, engine diaper, bolt check it, and just basically do a once over the car and make sure this car is ready to go down track. All right, guys, so anytime before a big race or something like that, it's a really good idea to get under your car, bolt check it. A lot of times I'll actually end up, see, like right here, I know that that hasn't moved. I'll also just touch it by hand too to make sure things like that are tight. And I just really do a once over of all our marks. You know, sometimes just grab an adjustable and start turning everything, you know, tighten it. And just really look over every single thing. You gotta remember, this thing is a fast car, it goes pretty fast. And suspension wise, you wanna make sure every bit is tight. Give a good shake, you know, just, yeah, look right here, boom. Not that a panhard bar would be super crazy, but you know, simple things like that, we're gonna make sure that's locked down super nice. So you're just gonna wanna get around, get every bolt, hands on everything, brakes, all the way through. If you guys remember Mod Nationals last year, I changed the rear end in the pits because we nuked a ring gear, and well, everything got really dirty, including the drive shaft. So I'll probably clean that off, and again, just bolt check everything over. Obviously everything up front here was just out. We're gonna double check all the camber bolts, check all the turbo kit, everything, check for leaks. I think there's a minor leak here on the oil pan, possibly the return fitting. We'll check that, tighten it up. It looks really minor. A little bit on the filter, but you know, we're gonna check all that out. But for the most part, everything's looking pretty dang good. We're just gonna do a full once over, engine diaper. You can see our pan clearance is so tight. I think that engine diaper is gonna be a pain in the butt to get on. But we'll see how it goes. If I have to loosen the motor mounts, lift the engine a little bit, you know, we'll make it happen. But yeah, so that's our once over. I found a few things I got to fix up there. Looks like our hood pin, the locking ring, it looks like it vibrated off. So we're gonna go find a lock nut and possibly two, so we can lock that down, make sure that never goes anywhere. We're gonna go to the store, get us the 5W50, get a new FL820S, I mean a 500S, 820S Cobras. Too many 4 valves lately. Get a little 500S, good to go. We got El Chapo Jr. sitting on ice, waiting for you know, the parts to come in, start putting the motor together. But yeah, that's the plan here. We'll get the dyno tires off and get the bead locks on, get the car cleaned up, get the chute packed, and get it ready to go in the box. Trailer prep, I bought 6 14-ply tires. So we're gonna get those mounted on the trailer wheels, and hopefully we don't have problems. This car is also super light, so this thing going in the trailer, this thing's 3,000 pounds. It's pretty much lightweight at that point compared to this car and the Cobra, both in there. All right, guys, so I just had the car started up. I got the engine diaper on. I got a bolt check going. We got the oil changed. The oil looked pretty good. There's also some brake cleaner in there. I brake cleaned some stuff off. It's a little on the quote-unquote milky side, but that's what you to expect with E85 combined with probably assembly lube and whatever else was in this engine. Like I said, brand new engine. I didn't really see any signs of really any metal. So that looks pretty good. And yeah, we're just gonna go from there. Those little shiny things, those are bubbles. 5W50, we're gonna go send it out at FL2K. I got my list for tomorrow. I gotta find a nice lock ring for this thing. So that way we got the hood nice and tied down. I gotta make a little bracket for the throttle cable. Right now I have it kind of mocked up. Believe it or not, it went all last year, zip tied. Yeah, so we're definitely gonna make, I'm thinking just a little 90-degree bend, a little straight bracket, something stiff enough to not bend, and then we'll do bolt and nut there, we'll be able to adjust it as well. And that should be good. We're just gonna make sure this other coolant hose is zip tied out of the way and make sure we have full throttle actuation, but Right now, this actually works really well. So seeing how it works with a little bit of flex on a zip tie, it's going to work even better with, you know, a nice little 90 bracket. That's the news there. Like I said, the engine diaper is on there. It's a pain in the butt. Not a big fan, but you know, it's not a bad idea. I just don't really like it. We got the rear wheels off, get the bead lock swapped on, get the parachute going, the works. Probably get some of these old stickers off, get the car some cleaning, and into the trailer after we get all of these done. Lots of work to do. All right, trailer update. I think we are good to go. A lot of you guys commented that the shackles were flipped. That was causing the tow. Looks like they unflipped themselves. I got 6 brand new 14 ply tires. I now have a proper spare with also a brand new tire, and I have another spare tire not on a wheel. So hopefully this should be a nice, smooth process going to FL2K. Taking a look in here, GT500 is clean, ready to go. And we're gonna be ready to make some passes. So pretty excited with that. I didn't film a lot of the prep work, but you know, we're there. We'll see you guys at the race. Hit the like button, comment down below, and see you in the next one.